You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Total Divas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Total Divas After Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Total Divas AFTERBUZZ After Show. Being is for doing, and I am Kaori Takee, and across from me is my boy.
It's your boy,
Christian Rosenberg.
Hey, that's my name. How's it going?
Very, very, very good.
Excellent.
And so yesterday, you and I had a very crazy fun night. We watched SummerSlam as well as Total Divas, and we are here to talk about Total Divas.
Yes, we are. We got Total Divas on this week's episode called The Fat Twin.
The Fat Twin, which is really funny because Nikki is not. She's not fat.
No.
I mean, she's a little beastier than her counterpart.
Not.
Yes, she is.
She is the farthest thing from fat.
No, she's not fat, but she is beast. So let's put it that way.
What is your definition of beast?
Very scary.
How is she scary?
She's a big girl. Well, she's not like Caitlyn big, but she's a big girl.
Why? Because she's got a little muscle on her?
Yes, I'm not saying fat muscle. I'm saying muscle.
Oh no, No, she is wonderful. They are all wonderful.
They are, and
just the way they are. I'm such a gentleman.
That's true, and that's probably the moral of this week's episode. With all the breast implant talk and everything.
We had lots of talk of boobies, lots of talk of sex.
Yes.
Lots of talk of underwear this week.
Yes, and that basically this episode opens up with Natty and Nikki going lingerie shopping. It turns out that Natty, who happens to be dating Tyson Kidd, needs a little voomph and uplift in their romance.
Needs to spark some things up.
Yeah, their romance is obviously, there's nothing going on, as we're going to see in this episode. So she goes lingerie shopping with Nikki, and they try on some outfits, and they look fantastic. But you can tell Natty's a little embarrassed, a little shy.
Now, being that I don't normally go lingerie shopping or anything
You
like
don't?
that. Shockingly, I know.
Oh my! I will take you shopping.
Oh, you're going to take me lingerie shopping? That would be we need a camera. We need a camera for that. But do you normally, like, if you've done, I don't know, like, do you go with friends of yours and like try things on to show things off to people?
I'm a little bit more modest when it comes to showing off my body, but other girls are different.
But it was just like, who goes to these stores and like, oh, check out this thing I'm going to get my boyfriend.
Yes.
And like they just walk out in the store.
And let's do it while the cameras are rolling too.
Well, why not? Why not?
Well, they've got nothing to hide. I mean, let's face it, their line of work, they're pretty naked most of the time. So.
Sure.
And they've got banging bodies. So, so yeah, we discover that Natty is having issues and anxiety about her romance with Tyson Kidd. We see that he kind of pays a lot more attention to their kittens or cats than her. For example, she comes home and he's watching a pay-per-view. She says, you know, I feel like more like his caretaker ever since his injury. And
yeah,
it's been about
he's still recovering from a serious knee injury that he suffered, still in physical therapy and all that. So he's still got some months to go before he's ready to come back.
Yeah, you know, and definitely it takes a toll on the other partner because she's sitting there taking care of him. And I'm sure she does out of love.
And to be fair, his emotional psyche too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was finally starting to get his first real push in WWE, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, that's bummer.
It was the worst possible timing for it to happen to him.
So yeah, of course, like mentally, he's kind of bruised up, and you know, it definitely plays a toll in their relationship. And you can see that she wants more sex in their relationship. She wants more romance. She wants more desire for each other. So she puts on one of those outfits that she got with Nikki, and he doesn't even. Well, he does notice, but he doesn't even care. He's like, "What are you wearing?"
His question: why are you wearing it?
Yes.
I'm sorry. If I'm a guy,
yeah,
and a girl like Natty walks in that lingerie, if I'm still on crutches from a knee injury, I'm grabbing those crutches and I'm hobbling my way on over to her because she's asking for something. If out of the blue she just walks out in this.
In something pretty banging. Too.
Yes. And that's an interesting, like Natty in WWE TV, she's one of the most conservative ones on TV as far as like her ring attire and everything like that. One of the few that has full-on pants and a top that covers, most of her upper body.
And well, you can also tell that she was a little hesitant to wear the lingerie. Yeah. So I was pretty shocked that he did nothing.
He was oblivious
to her or with her after the fact. And she just ended up laying down on the couch and she basically said, "Do I have to dress like Daniel Bryan for him to notice me?"
I hope not.
I know. It was so sad. And, as a woman, we feel it sometimes. And I just felt
And I don't know if she would look good with a big beard.
No, she wouldn't.
No.
I think she's better off the way she is right now. So, they go to lunch and they have a talk and she wants to talk about their wedding plans. And she says she wants a small wedding with 150 people because the Hart family is massive.
The Hart family is the population of some cities in America.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think there were 12 kids from the Harts. And then obviously their wives and husbands and their kids or grandkids or whatever the case may be. So it's just an abundance of people with the last name Hart.
Yeah, and she says she has 30 cousins, and that's only cousins.
And
And she says all these people she wants to invite, and then she says a few friends of yours. So I don't know how many people he would invite, but she's already thinking 150, even though she wanted a small wedding. You can tell he doesn't really want to talk about.
Do you not consider 150 small?
I think 150 is kind of big.
Okay. I'd say 150 is around average.
Yeah, I think it's average, but I mean, for myself, at this point, I would really want like a tiny, tiny wedding, should that come.
Right.
So.
Do I get invited?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if I get my predictions built back. But
that's a different show. We're here to talk about Total Divas.
So, yeah, he doesn't want to talk about the wedding, and she's still feeling that's like a second blow in this episode.
He's ignoring the sex. He's ignoring the wedding plans because she said they've been engaged. I think she said 2 years.
Yeah. And they've been dating for 10 years.
They've been dating for over 10.
Yeah.
And have not planned the wedding at all.
Yeah, so she really wants to get this stuff in motion. She's reaching out for him to show a emotional connection to her, to the point where she wants to talk about the wedding and have him respond. And he's not really reacting to it. And I feel really bad for her. And he notices, okay, she's not happy, so I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to take her out. So he drives her to a special location.
Such a gentleman.
I know.
So romantic.
And she's so excited. She's holding his arm while he's driving.
And it's slowly getting into more and more of a ghetto area.
Yeah, she's like excited and she's thinking, wait a minute, this is getting ghettoer and sketchier.
Ghettoer. Is that a word?
It is
ghettoer?
now. It is now.
Hashtag ghettoer.
So it's getting very sketchy, and she realizes he has arrived at courthouse and he wants to marry her right there. And that is his way of being
surprise,
romantic.
I'm romantic. Let's get married.
Yes. And she is livid.
Yes.
She is livid. She is to the point where she says, I don't know if I'm with the right man. If you really believe that this is what romance is for us and this is what we are worth, then I am with the wrong person. I mean, that means she's just so upset. What did you think of him doing this to her?
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, and again, it's another example of just being completely oblivious to what she was talking about.
How could he be so oblivious? I don't understand what makes him think that this was the right thing to do.
Maybe the producers told him that.
Maybe.
But of course it was all real, and and I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think he was just kind of thinking in his mind, okay, this works for me, so it must work for her.
Yeah.
Little does he realize that's not the case.
Do you agree that for men, a wedding isn't that important? I
think a wedding's very important.
You do?
I do.
Okay. But do you think about it and like have your dream wedding the way women typically do?
I'm sure I don't as much as women do.
Right.
I could honestly probably tell you who I would like to have as my groomsman.
Okay, that's fair.
In a fantasy land, whenever a girl actually wants to marry me. But that will happen one day.
That will happen one day. And it's just so sad because she's thinking, I've been with this man for 10 plus years.
Well, yeah, dating over 10 years, engaged for 2.
And
okay,
this is what he's going to give me.
Why are we not getting married yet? And now, well, really, we want to just go to the courthouse?
Yeah, this is what he's going to give me. I mean, she's upset. And, you know, obviously, I think it's the accumulation of the stress of his injury and what the toll it's been taking on their relationship as well. So she walks out on him, and, you know, towards the end of the episode, or I think it might be the closing moment of the episode,
she walks home, and he surprises her.
With flower petals everywhere, rose petals, and
he's
candles.
dressed up, candles.
And then they talk about, I want a beach wedding. And, you know, happy ending.
And Natty is apologizing to Tyson.
Typical. No, just kidding.
Because she's like, you know, maybe I needed to be more vocal about how I'm feeling. It's like, no, you don't. You spelled it out, clear as day.
I know, but sometimes men still don't get it. I think even as we spell it out, they don't get it, and it just it's hard. And
God, men are stupid, aren't they?
For women out there, we do need to be straightforward, or men will not catch it. And sometimes even being straightforward, men still won't catch it. And this is from experience.
All right.
But you know. She has a kind of happy ending, and well,
they seem to be happy, and now they're going to start planning their wedding,
which we're going to see.
Maybe we'll see in a future episode. Well, actually, we kind of know we're going to see.
Yeah,
in a future
we're
episode.
going to see it. I'm excited about that one.
Well, so Natty and Tyson are okay.
Yeah, can't wait for Tyson to get back. By the way, but
yeah, well, hopefully he'll get back in the ring soon.
Yeah, yeah. So.
And then they restart that push, hopefully for him. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Total Divas will help him. Help the Usos.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Substantially.
Yeah.
Well, all of them helped them all out.
Yeah.
So, Brie and Nikki, let's talk about them.
Let's talk about the fat twin, apparently.
Because they are the title of the Total Divas show. Brie and Nikki decide to go on a juice cleanse together. What's more, Brie's obsession with remaining skinny, and she pushes Nikki
because they have a photo shoot coming up, and Brie wants to lose 3 more pounds.
And it's not just that. She says, we were chosen for the WWE because we are identical twins. We need to be identical. So she makes her sister.
They're not identical anymore. One's got breast implants.
I mean, that's of course, but
it's impossible to be identical now unless the other gets breast implants.
Or stuffs tissue.
Or stuffs tissue, which we'll talk about later.
Yes. And, you know, it's interesting because Nikki, and I give props to Nikki because she's like, I'm eating whatever I want. I work out, but I'm going to just kind of indulge when I can. And then Brie is like the opposite, where she has more control. She's more kind of obsessed with her figure. And I understand that that's their line of work. They need to look good at all times. But it's very interesting to see these twins having such different mentalities on it.
But it also shows why they date the guys that they do. Brie dates just this simple guy, Daniel Bryan, so she doesn't need these luxuries of the desserts and all this stuff. And she wants to always try to keep a healthy lifestyle, like Daniel, or Brian, excuse me, mixing up.
Brian.
Get
it right.
Sorry. You know, with his, because he was generally, for most of his life, or most of the last several years, has been a vegan. John Cena is very, obviously, materialistic. Mm-hmm. All the most exquisite things in the world. So Nikki's like, well, I'm going to divulge and enjoy myself the way Cena kind of does. And Cena still does all the stuff. So why can't Nikki? Well, if you guys have a whole gimmick where you're twins and you're supposed to look exactly alike, it's not going to help if you are heavier than Brie, even though I don't see it other than the breast implant area.
What can I ask you, which body type do you prefer between the two? Nikki.
I prefer Nikki's body. I prefer Brie's personality and Nikki's body.
Did you prefer Brie's personality in this episode?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I think for the most part I do prefer
Brie's become, I think, my favorite diva out of all the ones on this show.
I like Trinity.
I mean, it's like they're like first and second for me, Brie and Trinity. But yeah, so I mean, my personal taste in a guy, I would personally probably say Nikki as far as, because I don't like girls that are super skinny, like skin and bones skinny.
Do you think Bree's skin and bones?
She's closer to that than Nikki.
Yeah, right. Well, she covers it with muscle.
Right. I mean, she's in excellent shape.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I don't mind there being just like, a tad bit of meat on there to make it seem like, oh, she's human. She enjoys certain things.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you on the flip side. I prefer my men to be a little fluffier.
Okay.
Than too skinny.
There you go.
So, but yeah, they embark on this 20-day juice cleanse, and Bree is totally excited to be doing this with her sister. Nikki is grossed out by anything she tries, like this Go Green Go juice, and then this other superfood that they're drinking.
I'm actually trying to add more juicing into my diet.
It's hard.
It's hard because some of it tastes good, some of it not so much.
Well, the better ones have more sugar, though.
Well, then that's the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah. Well, the funny thing that happens is, Bree comes into Nikki's apartment, I believe, their mutual apartment or something, and she comes in and she's like talking about how it's been kind of a struggle to maintain, and Nikki's kind of smiling.
He's smiling and kind of quiet.
Yep. And then Bree suspects something went on, so she goes into the trash can, sees a bottle of wine, and a muffin wrapper.
And this is like on day 3 of the cleanse.
Yeah.
and she promised her to go 20 days.
Yeah. And so
good job.
She just did not make it far at all. She was like, forget this. I am eating that muffin. And
it is delicious.
It probably was delicious. Probably if going for 2 days without any hard solids, that muffin must have been ecstatic.
Look, if I go to a juicer and I get a good juice, I like to reward myself by ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel it's fair.
But let's be fair, that's not rewarding. She cheated.
No, it's not.
She completely cheated. So they go the next day on the beach shoot, the SummerSlam photo shoot, and Bree's kind of making snarky comments about how great she feels and how great she looks. And all of a sudden they start getting in this fight. Oh, and we forgot to mention that Bree calls Nikki out and says, that is why people on Twitter are calling you fat, or the fatter twin.
Yeah, now our only real appearance of Eva Marie and JoJo on this episode was commenting to Nikki on Instagram how someone said she was so, with like 6 O's after it, fat.
O's. Yeah.
I want to know who the person was that considers Nikki Bella fat.
She's not fat.
She is not fat at all.
No. I mean,
she needs at least 50 more pounds to be considered overweight.
Oh, I think they're just comparing. They're comparing very, very slim Bree and a thicker. Now, she's not fat, but she's thicker than her sister.
Not by much. It's really not that big a difference.
Yeah, no, it's really not that big of a difference. But it's enough to cause conflict between these twins, and it's enough to make Nikki upset that Bree calls her fat. So she goes in the trailer midway of the shoot, and Bree has to come back and apologize.
Nikki's crying.
Nikki's crying, yes.
Nikki's having a teenage girl moment where she feels she's too fat for photos and to hang out with her classmates and stuff like that.
She also did cry when she first heard from Eva Marie that someone called her fat on Twitter. And it's understandable. It's kind of painful, but that's just how the way the entertainment business works. You're going to be scrutinized, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's part of the business. We get scrutinized sometimes for doing these shows. Some people might praise us. Some people might be negative, but whatever. That's part of the deal.
It is part of the deal, and
it's better to have it's better to have people say things, whether it's positive or negative, than to say nothing at all.
True. No, it's true. It's a way to better yourself every time. So this is something I commend Bree for, is even though Nikki kind of messed up by backing out on their mutual agreement to go with this juice cleanse together, Bree apologized to her sister and promised her after the photo shoot, I will buy you anything you want to eat.
Okay.
I mean, it just goes to show, for me, slightly who is kind of more of the bratty one, if that makes sense.
Oh, you know exactly who the bratty one is. The bratty one's Nikki.
Absolutely. And my point is, Nikki goes in and pouts.
It's just a difference of the personalities. And that's why I was saying, I enjoy Bree's personality more than Nikki.
I I do too, for the most part. I am a little turned off by how she needs to lose 3 pounds and she's obsessing about 3 pounds.
I don't think she was obsessing about it. She was just saying it'd be good for her to do it. I don't call her. I didn't get the vibe that she was obsessing over 3 pounds.
I think she was, because it came to the point where she had to call her sister in to do it together. And she was doing it while she was in bed with Brian. And she gave up pancakes.
Well, she was worried about the pancakes.
She was worried about the pancakes. So, you know, it was interesting to see this side of Nikki. It gave me a softer side for her, like, because she kind of stood up to herself and said, you know, I want to eat whatever I want. I look great, and we're not going to be identical, and that's that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, how can you expect twins to be perfectly identical? They're all going to have different brains and metabolisms, I guess. So,
most likely.
Most likely.
I'm not a doctor, nor am I a twin.
You are not a doctor, nor are you a twin. No. But
so this is just my educated opinion right here.
Yeah.
No, they cannot be 100% exactly alike.
No, they can't. But let's talk about Trinity and Ariane for a little bit, because Ariane, the Funkadactyls have a signing with the Bellas, and Ariane notices that because of Nikki's enhancements, she gets more attention.
Shocking.
Yeah, more, you know.
Wait, you're saying that Ariane's just realizing that Nikki gets more attention from a show that's main audience is guys?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Dun, dun,
Breaking
dun.
news. How did this happen?
And you know, they want more, what's the word? They want more attention.
Exposure. They want more attention.
Yeah,
they want to push.
Exactly. They want to push. So, you know, Ariane starts obsessing in this episode about getting enhancements of her own. And she drags her dog, Trinity, and John to the doctor's office. And that is the weirdest.
Does that normally happen? Like, I've never been in a doctor's office where they do breast implants before, but does the receptionist normally just reveal her breasts and show how nice implants look?
I don't think so.
Does that happen at all of them?
I was very puzzled by that, and you know what? Her breasts did look real. I was really surprised. Usually I can kind of tell, but they did look real.
How can you tell when it's completely pixelated?
Well, I'm not pixelated. No, I can't tell. But
did you watch an uncensored version of this episode somewhere?
I wish.
Okay. I was going to say, damn, I need to see that one.
I'm talking about over the clothes. Like, you can kind of tell by the shape. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this receptionist is very easygoing. She tells Ariane to feel her boobs. She lets Trinity go at it. And then Trinity lets John go at it.
That makes her the greatest fiance ever. It's like, you're getting a free pass right now.
She's so chill.
Have at it.
She is so chill.
And John is just like, This is a trick. This has got to be a trick somehow.
But see, what's so funny is because she let him do it, it suddenly felt awkward for him. So after he did it, he didn't like it. He was just like, oh my God, did I just do that? And it's so funny that he was put in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, she has that doctor visit and she takes home a couple implants to try out for a couple days.
A few different sizes of silicone. Yes. Free trial. Go for it. See what you think.
Yeah. That's interesting. I would, anyway, I'm curious to see what I would look like with booby plants. Not that I would do them. It's not my thing, but.
On next season's Total Divas, Kaori.
So Trinity and John are poolside, and in comes Ariane with her bathing suit with the implants inside of them.
Yep.
And Trinity says, "Jump in the pool and see if how they fare in the water." And so they do this whole Baywatch montage. Trinity's like, "Inside the water, help, help, help!" And out comes Cameron, a slow motion Baywatch, jumps in, implants come out, and they float.
Of course they come out because they're not attached. Yeah. They're just sitting in her bikini top.
But you know what? This is one of the funniest parts of this episode was the whole implant talk, because those things were floating and Trinity's like, who knew? Who knew? And I thought it was hilarious.
They're a flotation device. So
it actually made me wonder. I don't know if it made you wonder, but if I had breast implants, would I have a slightly harder time going under?
You're right. The first thought in my mind was, if Kaori has breast implants, wouldn't she have trouble going under? That's exactly the first. I mean,
Not me. Not me.
That's exactly what you just
But as
said.
a
Roll the
woman.
tape back.
But
No, if I have breast implants, yes, I would float then.
You would.
No, I don't need them though. My breasts are big enough.
yes, they are.
You're not supposed to agree with that.
Well, you know, like Ariane this whole time is enjoying.
Can we talk about Vincent though?
Yes.
And
let's talk
how
about
big of a
Vincent.
pig he was?
He was such a pig. He names her left breast,
Janice.
and he likes the bigger ones too.
Why? Because he's a typical guy.
Why though?
I don't know, guys. From a guy, most guys love big breasts.
Even if it's
I
not-
personally am not a big fan of it, honestly.
But even if it's not in proportion with the woman's body,
Yeah.
you guys aren't turned off by the disproportion of a body when the boobs
Sadly,
are
a
just
lot are
ridiculous.
not. A lot are not.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, and he was a pig. It's kind of funny though.
And he's like, wow, those giant fake breasts are making me sweat. So he's wiping his
gosh.
sweat on her like comforter that she has on her couch.
Oh god.
Which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it almost made me feel uncomfortable, but then she lightens it up by kind of not caring really. She's just like, oh, stop, you know. And by the way, Ariane's very
Annoying?
She's a very valley girl.
He's like, what's up, bitches? That's pretty much her
Yes.
line every time she walks on camera.
Yeah, she's I did not expect her personality to be like this. But watching Total Divas, there it goes. I'm shocked, you know, and you know, she goes backstage, she shows Sandra the seamstress her boobs, and Sandra's like, yeah, you should get those
Sandra,
things.
yeah, and Trinity's in like, what the hell are you telling her? That is a horrible idea. And when the other key thing that we forgot to mention, when she was at the doctor's office talking about it, the surgeon told her it'll probably take about 2 months before you're able to, like, you know, go on your full-time wrestling schedule again. And Ariane is like, oh, okay. And Trinity's like, that means I'm off TV for 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do this, and that means I'm not going to have anything to do.
Yeah. You know, by the way, speaking of the doctor's office, the one line that I thought was funny was when Trinity asked, let's say she gets them done Friday, will she be able to take a body slam on Monday?
Which is a very common question that a plastic surgeon gets asked.
Right. I thought it was hilarious. She was like, I think that's a little too soon.
That might be a little Russian.
Yeah.
That might be Russian a little
Yeah.
bit.
So, you know, Sandra agrees and Ariane's just enjoying her breath. She asked them to sew
So she
implants
sewed the implants into
the
her outfit.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden now, magically, one night on Raw, Cameron, not Ariane at this point, Cameron, she has bigger assets, apparently.
But I don't think, honestly, I don't think anyone would notice the difference. They weren't.
Only if you kind of got a close-up look, and if you studied her well, you would notice it.
Yes.
I mean, for those, we all know there are people that are obsessed with anyone, whether it's wrestler, actor, musician, whatever. So there are always people that will notice the smallest differences. People that are obsessed with Cameron, like, wait a minute.
That's a good point.
Something's different.
Something's fishy here. She has bigger, rounder boobies, but yeah, it's so funny because she shows them off to the newbies, JoJo and Eva Marie.
Their other
Shows them
cameo
off.
of the week.
That was the only 2 cameos. It was,
That was the only 2 times we saw Eva Marie and JoJo this entire
I hate to
episode.
say it, but it was a kind of a nice break to get it from Eva Marie because we've been seeing a lot of her.
Yes.
Yes.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So, and she shows the Bella twins, and you know, moments later, Cameron and Naomi need to go out as the Funkadactyls.
Oh, by the way, and this is week 4 of this season, and it is the first time that Ariane and Trinity announced on the TV show, on WWE we go by Cameron and Naomi.
Is that the first time? Or didn't they say that in the first episode?
I don't think they did.
We got to rewind that and
Maybe.
make sure.
But they like made a specific note on it this week. Is like, Ariane's like, when on TV, I'm known as Cameron. And it's just like, like we had like 4 weeks for you to tell us that. They might have said
Yeah.
it briefly at the beginning of the first episode, but for some reason this one really stuck out to me.
Right. No, I feel like they said in the first episode, but I'll find out.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Oh, don't get angry,
With my
jeez.
teeth gritted.
Wow, you're getting angry all of a sudden. I'm getting afraid.
So, you know, so yeah, they have to go perform, but unfortunately, Cameron's top is missing an implant.
One of the implants has been removed from the top.
And she's freaking out.
She's kind of one-boobed.
Yeah, completely freaking out. And I thought to myself, just take the other tit out and just go. Really, that's the best option.
That, I think, was going to be our line of the season for this AfterBuzz.
Because it's that simple. But instead, she decides to get some tissue and stuff her boob. And I think that's a huge risk, and they're out dancing.
And she's running around freaking out, trying to figure out where did it go, thinking Trinity pulled a trick on her. It's like, I didn't touch it.
But Trinity was laughing.
But Trinity thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Trinity's like, no, we're up next. I'm going out there. Hopefully you're there with me.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so Cameron, or Ariane, stuffs the other side with tissue and then goes out on national TV
With tissue
on one side of her top.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, while they're outside, we have Nikki telling John Cena.
The Bellas are standing there. Nikki is holding the silicone.
And she's telling John Cena, look what I did. And it's funny how John Cena says, oh, while you're ruining people's lives, I'll be over here.
I'll be over here doing good things for good people.
So funny.
And I found this hilarious too, because this is a very common thing in wrestling. Mm-hmm. They call it ribbing, pulling pranks, practical jokes on one another. I don't recall it happening very often to people on national TV. Mm-hmm. They'll do things in like independent stuff. Like I've had many times, like people have hidden my bag that I had stuff, and like I'm running around trying to find it, or like at a show, when I was a referee, someone will like come up to me and do something that wasn't necessarily planned or whatever. And there have been some very vile, disgusting ribs known in the past. The most recent one, which I'll say, and it's gonna, I know, gross you out to no end.
You said ribs.
Ribs.
Okay, go on.
It's a rib. It's a prank.
Okay.
Where Randy, I can't remember what diva he did this to, but Randy Orton, WWE superstar, for those of you that listen to this and don't watch WWE, Randy Orton, WWE superstar, decided to, let's just say, go to the bathroom in this diva's bag.
That's so disgusting. It's hilarious, though.
That is like an old school rib from many years ago. That was a fairly common thing that happened to newbies. The Funkadactyls have not been on TV that long, so I'm still okay with the Bellas pulling a prank or rib on them. I was just really surprised that they did it on national TV, where like there could have been an accident where somehow the tissue fell out of Cameron's top. And that would have ended her career. And that's kind of what they wanted us to believe, that she came in with the tissue sticking out. It's like, come on, we know, like. Well, we know, we know, like, thankfully, because we would have heard about it if it actually happened during that episode of tissue came out. So Cameron got by with it okay, miraculously somehow. But then, I guess John made Nikki feel bad, and Nikki apologized to Ariane. She did not feel bad. I completely disagree, because when Ariane came back in, Nikki pulled out her tissue from her breast and said, "Oh, are you struggling or whatever?" And Ariane screams. She thought it was a magic act because it just kept going. And you know what's that's what I thought too. And you know what's funny though is that Ariane didn't get mad at all. She's like, "I guess I understand, whatever." So I thought that was really weird, because I would have been pissed if that happened to me. But okay, and what would have happened to you backstage if you got pissed? More drama for Total Divas after show, an episode, and maybe not a job. Well, I mean, if Ava Marie can do it, yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Nah. But blah. At the end of the day, they have a huge camaraderie and they're friends and they understand it's a joke. And then Ariane decides, you know what? I want to be a good role model for the kids and not alter my body. And then I thought, I wonder if Nikki's watching. It's like, is that? So... I was thinking the same thing. It's like, is that a cheap shot to Nikki? I know. Or are you just saying because you've had such negative feedback and have acted in such an interesting manner so far this entire season, oh, now I want to be a good role model to the kids? It was kind of strange.
I mean,
it came out of nowhere to me. Like that sudden message at the end by her.
Yeah, I mean, the whole implant thing, it was just pure ridiculousness.
And I'll say, Ariane, you don't need breast implants. You're A-okay.
I know. When she was talking about how she had small skittle tits, well, I made that up, but
I can't work under these conditions, Kaori. You're just all over the place today.
Do boobs make you blush?
No.
Okay. Well,
but I didn't know.
When she was talking about her small boobs.
Okay.
I kept thinking she doesn't have small boobs. She's very proportionate. I don't know what the problem is here, but you know, if you're uncomfortable with your body, so be it. And I loved Trinity, how she said that the problem with the world today is that people are always insecure and wanting to alter their figure because of all the backlash and everything.
And that's why Trinity's so down to earth.
Gosh, I love her.
This is why we love Trinity.
Yeah, love her more, and I want to see her more in the ring. But
well, hopefully we'll be getting more of that in the coming weeks and months and stuff on WWE TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall,
I thought it was a fun, different episode. Lots of booby talk, lots of sex talk.
Yeah.
Which you kind of figured eventually you were going to have that. I just didn't realize we were going to cram it all into one episode.
But I mean, I think it all kind of related somehow. They all kind of tied in a little bit. And I really like seeing Tyson Kidd in the episode. Yet another.
I just really like the fact that actually Natty did something in an episode this for once.
I think she's going to start playing a more important role in Total Divas.
Good.
You know, she won the match yesterday.
And hopefully some more of JoJo. We need more JoJo. Even Marie, whatever, but more JoJo.
Yeah, I would like to see more JoJo because as of now she's singing, but she's not really by the ring.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of her on Total Divas. Period.
As well.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, except last episode where she was complaining about the hardships of having a relationship.
Right.
And
the 19-year-old girl with the relationship.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. So.
She's a baby. I love how I'm shaking my head so everyone on the podcast can clearly see that.
He's shaking his head. So you have some news for us.
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of news.
That was quick. Great job, Marissa.
Marissa was ready to go with that.
Yeah.
Well, earlier this week, as wrestling fans know, last night was WWE SummerSlam, which is one of their biggest events of the year. It was a tremendous success, no doubt about it. So throughout the week, there are several different events out in LA for all different things for SummerSlam. And there was also some events for Total Divas because it's been an enormous success.
Yes.
I have not seen the ratings yet for this week's episode, for week 4's episode, because this is the first one where technically WWE is competing with WWE. Because the pay-per-view was going on the same time Total Divas was on.
I thought about that.
So I'm curious to see what the ratings end up. But the ratings for week 1, 2, and 3, it's gone up every week, which is almost unheard of for a reality show.
Do you think it's helped substantially with WWE as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely think so.
I think so too.
And so because of that, Total Divas was signed on to do an 8-week season. It's scheduled to end in the middle of September. But because of the success, they are filming some more, and we're going to get 6 more episodes. So in September, we are going to have a summer finale. Then there's going to be a little break, so we'll be gone for a couple months. And then November, we'll be back for 6 more episodes to kind of round up to the end of the year.
I wonder if we're going to see different set of divas. I don't think we will.
No, it's still following the same divas, but now it's also following through SummerSlam. So we had this whole stuff at Access, which is like a live event for wrestling fans outside in LA Live, where our own Maria Menounos got to participate.
So she might be in Total Divas.
So she might be in Total. I think she actually is going to be in Total Divas because I know they're talking about that because they talk about SummerSlam as well. So lots of things happening, all good things for Total Divas because they are extending it, and that means you guys have to deal with more of us, which is always good.
Well, we love talking about it, so we hope you like listening.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, just like how the Total Divas ratings keep going up and up, our downloads and everything are pouring in more and more and more, which is awesome because you guys rock. AFTERBUZZ fans rock.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we definitely do appreciate you guys going to iTunes and rating us and giving us comments.
5 stars. We're like 4 7/8 stars or something like that on iTunes. We are as close to perfection as you can get.
says Christian Rosenberg. So thank you,
Yes.
and prove him right, and go ahead.
Prove me
and stop over
right.
at
Do
iTunes.
it. I love being proven right or something. I just messed that up.
You did.
I did. Oh, well.
So, I mean, I guess that wraps up about this show.
I think that wraps up this week's episode.
Yeah, sad Christmas. Gotta wait till next Monday. But in the meantime, until next show, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at CRosieVOC. Kaori and I also do WWE's main event AFTERBUZZ. For those of you that are wrestling fans, tune in Wednesday night, 11 o'clock Pacific time for that, where we talk wrestling. And as she was saying, I am the new predictions heavyweight champ of the world. So this Wednesday night, thank you, studio audience.
He's so happy.
And this Wednesday, I will give my State of the Champion address on main event AFTERBUZZ as well.
Oh my gosh.
So be ready for that.
Be prepared for a lot of bugging.
Oh no, praising and basking in the glory. Where can people find you?
Well, in the meantime, you guys can find me at Kaorius, Kaorious, and we will see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.